just outside of Washington, D.C., a baby was born. And some who had been informed of the pending birth traveled to attend the birth. A few months before, others who had been informed by reliable sources capable of looking at a situation and predicting things to come informed a larger group that the baby would be expected in June. In fact, 9 months ago, last fall, a number of persons knowledgeable in these matters ascertained that a baby would be born in June. They didn't know which day, but they knew. All of these people had one thing in common. They were living in expectation of an event to come. Now, that shouldn't be unusual for us. We're familiar with an account some 2,000 years ago of the same event. In fact, we know that John the Baptizer, a contemporary of Jesus Christ, in fact a relative, had been asked about 30 years after the Messiah's birth if he was the Messiah. According to Luke 3:15, could he be the Christ? Well, if we examine the evidence in 3 areas, we'll see why they were waiting in expectation. We're taking all of our scriptures from the 2nd chapter of Luke, so I won't read them. They were just read a few minutes ago, capably, in our Bible reading, but I'll refer to them. The first of these, after Jesus was born, an angel appeared to shepherds. And the shepherds were tending to their flocks near Bethlehem, right outside the city of Bethlehem. And the angel said, according to Luke 2:8 through 11, "Today there was born to you in David's city a Savior, who is Christ the Lord." Now, right after that, that angel was joined by a host of additional angels. Imagine that if you're a shepherd in a field. And this multitude were praising God and saying, "Glory in the heights above to God, and on earth peace among men of good will." That's in Luke 2:13 through 14. So that was one evidence seen by those present. Now, the announcement had an effect that I imagine you would feel if you were a shepherd. They set out for Bethlehem. They were in the neighborhood. They went out to Bethlehem. They found Joseph and Mary. They found the infant Jesus. They told Joseph and Mary and any that were there what had occurred, the angel and the host of angels. And when they left that scene, they continued back to their homes and told everyone that they could come in contact with. You'd do the same, wouldn't you, if you had seen something like that? In fact, as a result, all who heard were astonished at what the shepherds told them, according to Luke 2:17 and 18. Now, they continued to do this for some period of time. Can you imagine the stories they told last week, last month, a few months ago? I saw this. This is what happened. I witnessed it. They were going to keep that to themselves. So that's the second, or the first area. The second is when Mary, a few days later, brought her firstborn to Jerusalem, the prophetess Anna, according to Luke 36 through 38, and also a prophecy in Exodus, began to give thanks to God and speaking about the child to all who were waiting for Jerusalem's deliverance. Now, if you get a visual on that, you remember the convention, what Jonah was doing. He wasn't just talking to a couple of people. He was standing in a prominent location in the city as a prophet, as Anna did in this case, and announcing to everyone who passed by that they should be in expectation of the child who in fact had been born. Large numbers of people then understood. Now, later on, in fact, a couple of years later, astrologers from the east came to Jerusalem saying, "Where is the one born king of the Jews?" Now, They could have come out of present-day Iraq, maybe near Babylon, we don't know. They traveled some distance. They spent 2 years, or parts thereof, getting to Israel. And they were constantly asking, just as we all do when we're going to a distant place, have you seen this? Have you heard about that? Did you know about this? Everyone they came in contact. This is what we understood was happening. Do you know anything about that? And so all of the chief priests and the scribes inquired of where this Christ might have been born so that they could carry on their other various activities. So even though there's some thinking that the 70 weeks of years could have been a consideration, there's no evidence of that. The fact of the matter is all of the Gospels provide sound reasons why people should have been in expectation of the Messiah. And that Isaac Broadstone, what a cute kid. There's a lot of people expecting great things from him.